The gamer has opened its mouth, and hello, I forgive the lateness of this video. This is what we call YouTube's copyright system is pants. Hello. So, The Gamer. The Witcher Blood Origin has an audience score of only 8%, but many of those reviews perpetuate racist, sexist, and ableist talking points. Oh dear God, do these people not just... There's no point reading this article, let's be real. They don't actually give any examples. And someone actually in my comments on another video left the best one you can see here. And I burst out laughing when I read this because it's just so fitting. Notice they don't try to claim the reviews are wrong or that the show is good. They just don't like how some people express their disappointment with the show. Exactly. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Now they are policing reviews, and it's funny how no one talks about the critical score of only 30-something%. The Witcher Blood Origin is not a good series, but ultimately they are trying to kind of shift the narrative slightly, and now they're at the point you can criticize it, but don't criticize it that way. And despite good Rotten Tomatoes and other places deleting reviews of The Witcher Blood Origin, I burst out laughing because I was going through them and most, if not all, the reviews talk about the bad writing, the bad show, the bad everything, the bad acting, the cringeworthy dialogue, shoehorning in something that doesn't really belong there, a prequel based on what? 2 sentences, a throwaway line in one of the books. This is reductive content for Netflix. They have no interest in creating. They just want to fill gaps in their scheduling. And ultimately, this is a bad joke at this point because it's just the show isn't good. Critics and reviewers and people watching it also tend to all bring up the same points about this show. The show is pointless. But the gamer obviously has to put their foot in. The gamer is the internet equivalent of Reads with Rachel, a booktuber that likes to be at the centre of every drama, everything. I cannot stand her, don't trust her. But this is the whole thing of this show. This show is just pointless. It doesn't need to exist. They've killed the Witcher brand simply by getting rid of Henry Cavill. And when you have the books and games which are far superior to anything Netflix has produced, and I say this, season 1 of The Witcher had plenty going for it, but they destroyed that repeatedly and then kept destroying it, and now they're talking about doing it as, oh, The Witcher's gonna be more lore accurate and we're doing this, and they're desperately trying for some good PR, when really the numbers of these shows is very telling. Ultimately, this show is a failure. Ultimately, Blood Origin is now a mini-series rather than a series. And ultimately, Blood Origin is completely pointless. It doesn't need to exist. It literally just exists to be content. This is Rings of Power level of cringe. And although that's still the vast majority worse, this is very close second to that. And when you have good television, good fantasy on TV, like The House of the Dragon, and they're churning out this crap, like, this is one of the lowest rated shows on Netflix. It is epitome of a vanity project. It exists as content. They've actually wasted really good actors, and now you cannot review it, because if you review it, you are one of the buzzwords, which I can't repeat too many times in a YouTube video. Ultimately, not only is this a true sign of the global IQ dropping, but it is also a sign that when independent media is producing things 1,000 times better than anything mainstream companies is producing, you know there's a problem. The fact that they went in and made this article and just wrote this piece with a completely straight face not only feels like a PR stunt, but it is also weaponizing the criticism. And I detest that. Don't weaponize criticism. against the critic. Professional reviewers are predominantly paid, that's a thing, but ultimately this show is just garbage, and it shows, and now it's almost as if they're admitting it's garbage, but like the commenter said, they admit it's garbage, but please don't review it that way. Come on. No one is taking this seriously at this point, and I actually had some vague hope when I saw the early trailers, and then I watched the first episode and cried. I'm joking, I didn't cry, but you know what I mean. This is not a good show. Criticize it, rip it apart, do whatever you want with it. It's every YouTube video I've seen on it is far more entertaining, i.e. we're in the Rings of Power standpoint, and ultimately I feel like this show is reductive content, ultimately there just to be content on a streaming service where it's on that same level of Star Trek Discovery. It just exists to be content, doesn't actually exist to be anything else. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Am I the only one who found this hilarious? All of my links and info are down there. And I will talk to you guys a bit later. Bye.